The Forrester family's lives had been full of drama, deception, and complex relationships, but nothing could have prepared them for the latest wave of terror that would come crashing into their world. Luna, a long-forgotten enemy of the Forrester family, suddenly reappeared, bringing with her a nightmare that no one could have predicted. Luna had always been a woman who thrived on chaos, a ruthless individual with a personal vendetta against the Forresters, and she had been biding her time, waiting for the right moment to strike. The past had shown that she had a dangerous ability to manipulate and destroy, and now she was ready to wreak havoc once again. Her target was not just anyone in the Forrester family, it was Steffy's precious son, Hayes. Luna's plan was simple yet diabolical. In an act of shocking cruelty, she kidnapped Hayes, Steffy's beloved child, and hid him away in an abandoned, desolate house, far from the reach of anyone who could help. But the horror didn't stop there. Luna had something far more sinister planned. She had planted a bomb inside Hayes, a ticking time bomb that would threaten the child's life unless Steffy complied with her demands. The threat was clear. Steffy had to pay for the past, and if she didn't, her son would pay the ultimate price. The family's future was hanging by a thread, and Luna's twisted game had only just begun. Steffy's world, already full of tension and uncertainty, was now facing its darkest hour. Her love for her son was her most vulnerable point, and Luna knew it. Desperation soon gripped Steffy as she received an anonymous tip that Hayes was in danger. Her heart raced as she absorbed the gravity of the situation. Without hesitation, Steffy jumped into action, ignoring every instinct that told her to proceed cautiously. In her frantic state, she rushed to the location where Hayes was being held captive, unaware that she was walking right into Luna's deadly trap. The unknown informant's message had seemed like a lifeline, a way to save Hayes, but in reality, it was leading Steffy deeper into a web of terror and destruction. As Steffy arrived at the dilapidated house, she had no idea what awaited her inside. Her mind was consumed by thoughts of Hayes, the child she had carried in her womb, the child she had raised with so much love and devotion. The thought of him in the hands of a monster like Luna was unbearable. But the true horror was only just beginning to unfold. Inside the house, Luna waited patiently, knowing that Steffy would soon arrive. Luna was prepared for the confrontation, her mind as cold and calculated as ever. She had been planning this for a long time. The bomb that she had planted inside Hayes was rigged to go off at a precise moment. She knew that Steffy's every move would be desperate, and she was counting on the emotional chaos to make Steffy do exactly what she wanted. Steffy's mind was consumed by fear and love, a dangerous combination that clouded her judgment. As she made her way through the dark, dusty house, Steffy's senses were heightened. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of shadow, felt like an omen. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think of anything but Hayes. Her heart pounded in her chest as she rushed through the dimly lit rooms, calling out his name in a desperate plea. "Hayes! Hayes, where are you?" The silence was deafening. There was no response. Steffy's fear deepened as she stumbled through the house, her heart racing with every step. She reached the main room, the place where she knew Hayes was being kept. But as her eyes scanned the room, she saw nothing but shadows. Her breath hitched, and just as she was about to move forward, the door slammed shut behind her. Panic surged through her, but before she could react, Luna stepped out from the shadows, her presence cold and menacing. "Steffy, you've walked right into my trap," Luna's voice rang out, her words dripping with malice. Steffy froze. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. She had been played. "What do you want, Luna?" Steffy demanded, trying to steady her shaking hands. Her mind was a blur, but she could still feel the presence of her son somewhere in this house. "I want what's mine," Steffy, Luna sneered, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. I want you to feel the pain I felt when your family ruined my life. You took everything from me, and now I'm going to make sure you lose everything too. Starting with your precious son." Steffi's eyes widened in horror as Luna stepped aside to reveal the small figure lying unconscious on the floor. Hayes. Her heart stopped. He was still alive, but the sight of him, so vulnerable, so helpless, made Steffi's blood run cold. Tears blurred her vision as she rushed to his side, but Luna's voice stopped her in her tracks. "Don't get any closer, Steffy," Luna warned, a sinister edge to her words. "The bomb inside him is set to explode the moment you make a wrong move. One false step, and he's gone. Forever." Steffi's mind raced. The weight of Luna's words hung over her like a dark cloud. She had no idea how to save Hayes, no idea how to outwit this woman who was clearly enjoying every second of her suffering. Her instincts screamed at her to protect her son, but the bomb kept her from acting recklessly. "What do you want, Luna?" Steffi repeated, her voice trembling. "You can have anything. Just let him go." Luna's smile twisted into something far more terrifying. "It's not that simple, Steffi. You see, you're going to pay for everything your family has done to me. And that means you'll have to make the hardest choice of your life. You'll have to choose between saving your son and giving in to my demands." Steffi's heart broke as she struggled to find the words. How could she possibly make a choice like that? Hayes was her entire world. "What do you want?" Steffi asked again, her voice barely a whisper. Luna's eyes glinted with a mix of malice and triumph as she finally spoke. "You're going to take down your family, Steffi. You're going to make them pay for what they did to me. You're going to destroy them from within. If you do that, if you agree to my terms, then I'll let Hayes go. If not, well..." Luna let the sentence hang in the air, her eyes dark with threat. "You'll never see him again." Steffi stood there, frozen, her world crumbling around her. The weight of Luna's threat pressed down on her, and for a brief moment, she thought she might break under the pressure. But in that moment, something inside her snapped. Her love for Hayes, for her family, for everything she held dear, outweighed the fear. She couldn't let Luna win. Steffi straightened her back and looked Luna in the eye. "I won't do it," she said, her voice filled with defiance. "I won't destroy my family. I'll find another way. You can't break me." Luna's smile faltered for a brief second, but then she quickly recovered, her eyes narrowing. "We'll see about that, Steffi," she said, before stepping back into the shadows. Steffi knew she was running out of time. The clock was ticking, and every moment she wasted was one more moment Hayes could be in danger. But she wasn't going to give up. Not without a fight. Not without doing everything she could to save her son. The bomb was ticking down, and Steffi was running out of options. She had to think fast. In the silence that followed, she made her move. The Forrester family had always been a symbol of wealth, success, and complex relationships, but they had never been prepared for the devastating shock that would soon tear through their world. Steffi Forrester's life, already filled with ups and downs, took a tragic and terrifying turn when Luna, an old enemy with a deep-seated vendetta against the Forrester family, resurfaced with a deadly plan. Luna, a woman who thrived on chaos and destruction, had been biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment to exact her revenge. She had always harbored a grudge against the Forrester family, but now, with all of her hatred and malice boiling to the surface, she had a devastating plot in mind, a plot that would strike Steffi where it hurt the most, through her beloved son, Hayes. Luna's plan was twisted, calculating, and cruel. She had kidnapped Hayes, Steffi's young child, and taken him to a remote, abandoned house far from anyone who could help. But the true horror lay not just in Hayes' abduction. Luna had planted a bomb inside him, a time bomb that would threaten his life unless Steffi complied with her sinister demands. Steffi's world came crashing down as Luna's twisted game began, and her every moment was consumed with terror for her son's safety. Steffi had no idea that the stakes were this high as she made her way to the house where Hayes was being held captive. The tip-off she received had seemed like a lifeline, a chance to rescue her son before it was too late, but Steffi had no idea how dangerous this would turn out to be. As she entered the house, her instincts screamed at her to be cautious, but her love for Hayes pushed her forward. Desperation clouded her judgment as she hurried through the dark, dilapidated rooms. Her mind was filled with thoughts of Hayes, terrified of what Luna might do to him. She couldn't let her son down. But as Steffi moved forward, she unknowingly triggered the device hidden inside the house. A subtle click sounded under her feet, and in an instant, the countdown of the bomb began. Steffi froze in horror as the sound of the ticking clock filled the room. Her heart raced with panic as she realized the nightmare that had unfolded. Hayes' life was hanging by a thread, and Steffi had no idea how to save him. The pressure was overwhelming, the seconds ticking away relentlessly. Her mind scrambled for a solution, but it was clear that she couldn't do this alone. Desperation gripped Steffi's heart as she frantically searched the room for a way out. The walls seemed to close in, and the bomb's ticking grew louder, echoing in her mind like a countdown to her son's death. She was running out of time. It was then that Steffi made the call. She had to reach out for help. The magnitude of the situation hit her hard. She couldn't afford to make a mistake. In a panic-fueled decision, Steffi reached out to Bill Spencer and a team of bomb experts. Bill had always been a powerful ally, and Steffi knew that if there was anyone who could help her defuse the situation, it was him. The clock continued to tick, and Bill and the experts sprang into action, guiding Steffi through the perilous task of disarming the bomb. With every step, Steffi felt the weight of the seconds counting down, and she knew that any wrong move could cost her son his life. As Bill and the experts worked tirelessly, Luna watched from afar, relishing in the chaos she had created. Her plan was moving forward as expected. Steffi's desperation, Luna knew, would cloud her judgment, and Luna was betting that her game of psychological warfare would break her down. While Steffi fought for her son's life, Luna was already planning her next steps, steps that would ensure that the Forrester family's suffering was far from over. What Steffi didn't know, however, was that Luna wasn't just any ordinary enemy. Luna's hatred for the Forrester family ran deep, deeper than anyone could have imagined. It was revealed that Luna's connection to the Forresters went back many years, and her vendetta was rooted in a tragic history of betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. Luna had once been close to someone in the Forrester family, a person who had been wronged and discarded, leading her to spiral into a life of bitterness and revenge. Her relationship with the Forrester family was far from incidental. It was built on years of pain and resentment. Luna's hatred wasn't just a product of the present, but the result of a past that had been buried deep within the family's history. As Steffi began to uncover more about Luna's twisted motivations, she was forced to confront a truth she hadn't anticipated. The Forrester family's darkest secrets were coming back to haunt them. Luna's desire for revenge was fueled by a deep, personal wound, a wound that would stop at nothing until it had taken everything from the Forresters. Steffi realized that the battle to save Hayes was just the beginning of a much larger war, one that would not only involve Luna's vendetta, but also the buried secrets of the Forrester family itself. As Steffi neared the critical moment of deactivating the bomb, the stakes reached new heights. In a moment of horrifying clarity, Steffi discovered that the only way to save Hayes was to make an unimaginable sacrifice, one that could cost her everything. Bill and the bomb experts had devised a dangerous plan to disarm the bomb, but time was running out, and Steffi had no choice but to take matters into her own hands. With the seconds slipping away, Steffi made the decision to remove the bomb herself. Her heart raced as she moved closer to Hayes, knowing that one wrong move could mean his death. But Steffi's love for her son was stronger than the fear that consumed her. She couldn't bear to lose him. As she carefully worked to disarm the bomb, the clock continued its relentless countdown, the pressure mounting with each passing second. With a final, precise motion, Steffi deactivated the bomb just moments before it could explode. She collapsed beside Hayes, her heart pounding with relief and exhaustion. But just when she thought the nightmare was over, Luna's next move sent shockwaves through Steffi's world. The terror Steffi had endured was far from finished. Luna had played a psychological game, sending anonymous threats and messages to the Forrester family, sowing distrust and division among them. Luna's tactics had turned family members against each other, manipulating everyone into doubting their alliances and questioning their loyalty. Steffi found herself at the center of a growing web of lies, mistrust, and paranoia. The psychological toll Luna's manipulation took on Steffi and her family was profound. What was worse, Steffi soon realized that Luna's involvement in the Forrester family's history ran deeper than anyone had imagined. The family's past was filled with secrets and betrayals that had remained hidden for years. As Steffi continued to uncover the truth, she was forced to grapple with the devastating realization that Luna's plot was part of a much larger, more dangerous conspiracy. The Forrester family's darkest secrets were coming to light, and Steffi had to choose between saving her son and protecting the family from the forces that had been working against them all along. In a shocking twist, Steffi uncovered that a member of the Forrester family had been working with Luna all along, helping her in her plot to kidnap Hayes. The betrayal hit Steffi like a punch to the gut. A member of her own family had been complicit in the plot against her son. The betrayal was a bitter pill to swallow, and Steffi found herself torn between her need to save Hayes and her desire to expose the traitor within the family. As Steffi navigated this new revelation, she realized that the battle wasn't just about protecting her son, it was about preserving the integrity of the Forrester name and keeping her family together in the face of a devastating threat. Just when it seemed like Steffi had triumphed over Luna's plot, a new enemy emerged, more dangerous and more cunning than ever before. This new foe, connected to Luna's past, launched a new wave of attacks against the Forrester family, promising an even fiercer battle ahead. Luna may have been captured, but the war was far from over. The Forrester family would face a new threat, one that would test their resolve, their loyalty, and their ability to survive the darkest days of their history. In the midst of the chaos, Steffi found her strength. The love for her son and her family drove her to keep fighting, to protect those she loved no matter the cost. In the end, it was love and determination that would guide her through the darkest days, as she fought to ensure that the Forrester family's legacy would survive, no matter the challenges that lay ahead.